Welcome back, and today we're going to continue with The Adventures of Buster Bear by Thornton W. Burgess, Chapter 22. Buster Bear has a fit of rage. A temper is a bad, bad thing. Once it gets away, there's nothing quite at all like it to spoil a pleasant day. Buster Bear was in a terrible temper. Yes, sir, Buster Bear was having the worst fit of temper ever seen in the Green Forest. And the worst part of it all was that his neighbors of the Green Forest and the whole lot of the Green Meadows and the Smiling Pool were all there to see it. It was bad enough to give way to temper when you were all alone, and there is no one there to watch you. But when you let temper get the best of you right where others can see you, oh dear, 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 it is certainly a sorry sight. Now, ordinarily, Buster is one of the most good-natured persons in the world. It takes a great deal to rouse his temper. He isn't 1/10 so quick-tempered as Chatterer the Red Squirrel or Sammy Jay or Reddy Fox. But when his temper is aroused and gets away from him, then watch out. It seemed to Buster that he had had all that he could stand that day and a little more. First had come the fright back there in the old pasture. Then the pail had slipped behind his ears and held fast, so he had to run away to the Green Forest with it hanging around his neck. This was bad enough, for he knew just how funny he must look, and besides, it was very uncomfortable. But to have Sammy Jay call everybody within hearing to come and see him was more than he could stand. It seemed to Buster as if everybody who lives in the Green Forest, on the Green Meadows, or around the Smiling Pool was sitting around his hiding place, laughing and making fun of him. It was more than any self-respecting bear could stand. With a roar of rage and anger, Buster Bear charged out of his hiding place. He rushed this way and that way. He roared with all his might. He was very terrible to see. Those who could fly, flew. Those who could climb, climbed. And those who were swift of foot, ran. A few could neither fly nor climb, nor run fast. Hid and lay shaking and trembling for fear that Buster would find them. In less time than it takes to tell about, Buster was alone. At least, he couldn't see anyone. Then he vented his temper on the tin pail. He cuffed at it and pulled at it, all the time growling angrily. He lay down and clawed at it with his hind feet. At last, the handle broke, and he was free. He shook himself. Then he jumped on the helpless pail. With a blow of a big paw, he sent it clattering against a tree. He tried to bite it. Then once more, fell to knocking it this way and that way, until it was pounded flat, and no one would ever have guessed that had once been a pail. Then, and not till then, did Buster recover his usual good nature. Little by little, as he thought it over, a little of shame crept on his face.
I guess it wasn't the fault of that thing. I ought to have known enough to keep my head out of it,
he said slowly and thoughtfully. You got no more than you deserved for stealing Farmer Brown Boy's berries, said Sammy Jay, who had come back and was looking on from the top of a tree. You ought to know by this time that no good comes from stealing. Buster Bear looked up and grinned, and there was a twinkling in his eye.
You ought to know, Sammy Jay, said he. I hope you'll always remember it.
Thief! 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 Screamed Sammy and flew away. That's the end of this chapter. Thank you for joining us. And if you liked what you heard, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you.